Right, so day 3 in Newcastle. I'm exhausted. I'm really tired, but was once again trying not to go to bed too early so I wasn't waking up at some obnoxious hour of the morning. But we did a lot today. We covered a lot in a very, very short span of time, and the city is huge. So covering all of it in a day, I had no idea how impossible that would be. Um, but I may be clicking on things as I go because I'm going to go through my pictures to try and remember everything that we saw and did. Um, but we got up this morning and I had yogurt on the way out. Um, Something that I hadn't had before. I don't remember what it was. There's more in the fridge. I'll look at it later. Sorry, really tired. But we started at Gray's Monument in the center of Newcastle. And I'm sure all of you have heard of Earl Grey tea. Yeah, that Earl Grey. Big monument in the middle of Newcastle for reforms that he did. Um, and I had no idea a lot of his history. Apparently, he had an affair with the Duchess, and they had a child. The Duchess's family sent it to him because obviously the Duke was not particularly happy with that arrangement. But that Princess Diana came from that line, actually, quite interesting there. Um, and then went on and saw the arcade that if you go onto my blog where this is going to be posted and different things, I have pictures from today. And the arcade is just this beautiful older building with all of these incredible Dutch tiles that were really stunning, and all of it, like my mouth is hanging open as all of this. Oh, and our tour guide, his name was Peter, a really amazing man. He passed his tour guide exam not too long ago, and has started giving tours. But he's a friend of Eileen's, who I'm staying with, so we got a nice free tour today. And he's so very, excited about everything that he was teaching us today that he was just on and on so many facts, and I couldn't take it all in and absorb it. I was like, I need to be recording this because I'm never going to remember all of this. Um, but it's the strangest city in the world, Newcastle, because it's basically like I don't know, begin at the 8th century and then go to 2 years ago, take artifacts from those centuries and everything in between, put them in a bag, shake them up, throw them on the ground, clump them together, and that's Newcastle. It's like this 8th century castle next to this random modern hotel, and they're all about this far apart. And I mean, it's just jumping from century to century, back and forth with all of these different things, and it's really hard to keep up with. But let's see, some of the things that we saw today, in addition to that, was okay, arcade, rambling on. This is going to be interesting. Um, There's a lot of people and a lot of buses. There's ridiculous amounts of buses, and I had a hard time getting pictures. The original Mark and Spencer's, that was pretty cool. Mark and Spencer's is sort of a big deal in England, which was very exciting. And that was in the arcade area. There are different shops and markets in there, and there's actually a weigh station. Um, where apparently now people go in and you stand on a scale and you pay a certain amount of money and they hand you your weight. It was really interesting, but originally it was a meat market and it was to weigh meat, which makes more sense to me. Kind of odd. People still use it. Rather interesting. Um, I guess we'll just go for the highlights of today. Went to a music hall and there's a plaque there that showed that Charles Dickens had spoken there several times. What? Charles Dickens? So cool. Royal Theatre was beautiful. We tried to get inside. We could only get in the foyer. Tried to go farther. Locked. Oh well. It was a good shot. St. Nicholas's Cathedral, which was absolutely beautiful, and we had hot chocolate in there, which was great because it was freezing today. It was so cold. Luckily, everything was so interesting and beautiful that I was completely distracted, which was good, because if I hadn't been, I probably would have been miserable. Um, and and leaving the cathedral, saw the vampire rabbit. I hope you all saw the picture of that. It's the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Doctor Who fans, all I could think of is that thing is a weeping angel and it comes to life at night and it attacks people. Um, and then walk down around the cathedral, and then of course, you come around the corner and you're like, that's a castle. That's a castle in the middle of this modern, yeah. So Blackgate, uh, interesting, part of the original wall there, the Roman wall, and then the fortress. I can't even explain. I mean, you can see the pictures. I don't think you understand that these things are literally like feet apart, and it is the weirdest thing to stand in the city and be like, oh, look at that, that's from the 8th century, and this is from 2 years ago, and that's from 100 years ago, and that's from, and it's just the strangest collision of different things. And you've got bendy buses and the two-level, two-decker buses, and people everywhere, and pubs everywhere, and clubs, and it's insane. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's just beautiful in so many different ways. And then you get down to the river, and they're just bridges. I think of, I don't know, most of the places around here, it's like there's a bridge, and you can't really see the next bridge. It's a ways down. Here, it's like bridge, 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 right next to each other, all built at some different time period for a different reason. And apparently, even with all these bridges, they still have crazy traffic jams because they don't have enough ways across the river. Um, we saw the Sage, which in my pictures you see this crazy bubble-looking building, and that's for like a concert hall for lots of events and things. And right next to the Millennium Bridge, that weird kind of arched bridge that looks, well, you know, new and modern. And both of those are very, very beautiful. But again, it's just so strange going from 8th century to that. Rather fascinating. Um, Learned about a girl who was 18 and meant to be married to some very rich man in his 70s, and eloped with some poor boy from down the street, and then he became the first Duke of somewhere. I have all of this written down, but it's a lot, and I don't remember all of it, and I'm really sleepy. But that was really interesting, and I don't know, look at the pictures. Look at the pictures I posted on Tumblr. That will show you some of it. But we just walked and walked for miles and saw all of these beautiful buildings and all of the history. And we were at the cathedral, actually. Peter is Jewish. And we sat down and we talked about the importance of Israel and how it's sort of being neglected. And that when you look at Scripture, and, that all of the Scriptures that God says, the promises to Israel, and the signs of the things to come, when Christ returns, involving Israel and that kind of thing, how important it is. And yet churches have sort of neglected praying for Israel when that's sort of a direct, not sort of, it is a direct command in Scripture. It was really interesting, discussing that and different aspects of theology with him, and that was really great. Oh, I did post pictures. I had fish and chips today, and it was awesome. The fish was like this big. It's bigger than my face. I could not eat all of it. It was delicious. And then chips, and then mushed peas, mashed, smashed. I don't know. Peas of some kind, mushed into something. It was quite good. Whatever it was. I don't really know. But it was delicious. And the pub was beautiful. And when Peter left us, later Eileen and I went shopping in a few places, and she did ask me, if I'd seen any British men that I found attractive, and I told her I had, and that my mother did want me to marry one so that I could move here and she could come visit me, but I don't really know how to go about doing that. What do you do? Just walk up to? I said, what do I do? Just walk up to someone who looks rather handsome. Hi, I'm an American, and I have a request that I marry a British man. So you free anytime this week? It does have to be this week because I'm leaving. You're free to take me out at some. Yeah, it'd go really well. I'm sure that would be a winner. Um, not really actually an applicable plan. Applicable plan. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm so tired. But I guess that's sort of a summary of my day. It was just so crazy, and there's so much information that I can't really say anymore, particularly. But tomorrow, Hadrian's Wall. I'm so excited. So hopefully there'll be lots of pictures of that, and I mean my video summary will probably be I walked around in a field that was great, but we'll see. So again, cheers.